Yeah, welcome back to Mindset Moves, the place where money meets mindset. I'm your host, Said Ben Mary, and today we're diving deep into one of the most life-changing personal finance books ever written, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This Snefwell isn't just a book review. It's a breakdown of a mindset shift that could literally transform the way you think about money, jobs, and wealth. So if you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck or wondering how the rich keep getting richer, stick around. Let's talk about it. Who are Rich Dad and Poor Dad? So let's set the stage. Robert Kiyosaki had two father figures in his life. His real dad, and whom he calls Poor Dad, was highly educated, had a stable government job, and valued security. But despite working hard all his life, he struggled financially. Then there's Rich Dad, the father of Robert's best friend. This man didn't have a college degree, but he understood money, business, and investing. Over time, he became one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii. So what makes the difference between Rich Dad and Poor Dad? It's not intelligence or hard work. It's mindset and financial education. Still true too, the rich don't work for money. This is one of the biggest takeaways in the book. Poor Dad believed go to school, get good grades, and get a secure job. Rich Dad taught don't work for money, make money work for you. What does that mean? Poor Dad focused on income from a job, trading time for money. But Rich Dad focused on buying or building assets, things that generate income while you sleep. Think about it, a rental property, a business, dividends from stocks. These are assets that keep working for you long after you've stopped working. That's the first major mindset shift. Stop being an employee. Start becoming an investor. And 3, assets versus liabilities. There's one lesson that sticks with people from this book. It's this: the rich buy assets. The poor and middle class buy liabilities they think are assets. Kiyosaki breaks it down so simply, it's almost shocking. Here's how he defines it. Assets are things that put money in your pocket. Liabilities are things that take money out. So a house you live in? It's actually a liability because you're paying a mortgage, taxes, maintenance. But a rental property that pays you every month, that's an asset. Your job is to build a portfolio of assets. Real estate, businesses, stocks, intellectual property. The goal, financial freedom. When your passive income exceeds your expenses, you're free. Or why schools don't teach this. Kiyosaki doesn't blame people for not knowing this. He blames the system. Most schools don't teach you about money. They teach you how to be a good employee. And that's not a conspiracy. It's just outdated. Poor Dad had degrees and respect, but never learned about investing, taxes, or cash flow. Rich Dad barely finished high school, but he studied money every single day. We're not taught how taxes work, or how to use debt as a tool, or how to read a financial statement. This book wakes you up to the reality. If you don't learn how money works, you'll spend your whole life working for it. 5, fear, risk, and mindset. One of the most powerful sections in Rich Dad, Poor Dad is about overcoming fear. Kiyosaki says the primary difference between a rich person and a poor person is how they manage fear. Most people are afraid to take risks, to invest, to start a business, to break the 9 to 5. But what's really risky? Spending 40 years at a job that barely covers your bills. Rich Dad taught Robert to embrace calculated risk and always be learning instead of saying, I can't afford it. How can I afford it? That simple shift moves you from scarcity to creativity. 6, action steps you can take. So here's the big question. What can you do right now? Start tracking your cash flow. Know what you earn and what you spend. Separate assets from liabilities. Be honest. Invest in financial education. Read books. Listen to podcasts. Take a course. Start small. You don't need millions to buy your first stock or start a side hustle. Change your mindset. Instead of working for money, think, how can I make money work for me? That's it for today's episode on Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you got value from this breakdown, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this episode with someone who needs a money mindset shift. If you want a deeper dive or a part 2 where we break down Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, let me know in the comments. And remember, financial freedom isn't about how much you earn, it's about how smartly you use your money. Until next time, I'm said Ben Mari, and this is Rich Dad versus Poor Dad, the book that changed how we see money. Stay smart, stay curious, and stay wealthy.